just to start understanding the size of what we're speaking here about, how many employees in Latin America does the company have?
So for our operating unit in Latin America, we have roughly about 1,000, and then we have a number of other employees in some of the other businesses that we have. So roughly, I would say, if you add those together, 2,000.
How is it composed? How many women? How many men? What are the ages they are in?
Yes, so we have we look at our demographics based on levels. So if we look overall, we roughly, from a gender standpoint, are close to 50-50 overall, but obviously within each level, whether it's young professionals or our middle leadership or senior leadership, the demographics differ.
It's like the gap starts to open when they get to the upper levels, right?
Yes, so we aspire to be led by 50% by females in our senior leadership roles by 2030. That's a company aspiration.
Okay.
We have a goal within Latin America.
That's not far away.
No, not far away. It's a journey we started some time ago, and we continue to build momentum. So in Latin America, our aspiration is by 2025 to be about at 45%. We're working towards that now.
How do you plan to get there?
So multiple approaches, right? When you look at how do we increase our diversity overall within an organization, you need to look at recruiting. So external, how are we bringing in talent from the outside? And then not only bringing them in, but also how we onboard them, how we make sure they feel a sense of belonging and inclusion. We also look at our pipeline and how we want to continue to develop the talent that we have today. So we look at we have a number of programs, one in particular that we're working on right now in Latin America, around a select group of females that we are working on very clear and deliberate development plans and working them as a bit of a program, a cohort. And then obviously we also need to look at retention because you can't continue to increase if you continue to lose talent. And we are very lucky. We have a relatively low, by all industry standards, retention turnover rate. So that's probably the least of our issues.
So you said for 2030, one of our goals is getting to have 50-50 so we can have half women in leadership positions.
In leadership positions.
What else? Which other things are the focus of the company looking forward to 2030?
We continue to look at what our mission is and to refresh the world and make a difference, right? So we want to make a difference in our communities. We want to make a difference from a sustainability standpoint. So we have goals in all of those areas to make sure that we continue to focus on the right things to do in where we operate.
How you translate those things into a human resources vision?
We look at what the capabilities are that we need now and in the future, right? So if you think about things like artificial intelligence and how that's going to have already today has a major impact in the workplace, but how much more that can have. And so we look at digital fluency as an example of a capability that we need to continue to build for our employees to make sure that they can evolve as things evolve outside and within our company.
Tell me about Fresh Minds.
Fresh Minds.
You smile. I think you have a personal kind of love for that program.
I do.
Why is that?
It's an opportunity for us to bring in university students for anywhere from 9 months to 12 months to a year, usually averaging a year, and give them really clear experiences, deliberate experiences to help them be ready, whether for a role with our company or another company. But it's a ripple effect. It really creates the momentum of when they're here, the opportunities that they get to expand their network, see things that maybe they wouldn't have been able to see. We talk here a lot about the Coca-Cola magic, and it gives them an opportunity to see through their own eyes instead of as a consumer or a customer of our products, but more as an employee. What does that mean to see how our magic unfolds internally, and then how that then ripples to the communities that they live in?
How do you choose those?
So we have an interview process that we go through with the lens, again, of making a difference. So we look at diversity, both gender diversity and in countries like Brazil, ethnic diversity, to make sure that we are bringing a wide variety of thinking and experiences, socioeconomic experiences, so that, again, they bring something special to that with them, to our company, and we give them something special around the experiences that they get, the exposure that they get to leaders, to a mentor, and to our brand and the work that we do, and then they can take that back out with them.
For how long has this program been going on?
Since 2021.
Okay.
So we're in our third year of the program now, and we continue to see the benefits of it. I'll speak from very personal experience. So we had an open position on our HR team in Brazil about 9 months ago, and the person we hired was a previous Fresh Minds candidate. So they came, they were part of our Fresh Minds program, they left, they went and worked somewhere else, got some experience, saw the position open that was posted on our team, and interviewed, and was the most qualified candidate by far. But they had already some experience and exposure to the company, so it made them even more excited to come back in a permanent role.
He already had the recipe for the magic. That was the trick.
He already had some magic within him. He did.
Do you have statistics and follow-ups to those who have been in the program?
Yes, so we look at placement not only within the company, but also in our system, right? So our system encompasses the many bottlers who work and deliver and make our products here in Latin America. So there are opportunities for them to go work in a bottler. And again, they understand our system more. They have some experience. They have been working with us, so that makes them maybe a bit more of a credible candidate within the system. So we do track not only the placements we do within the company, but in the system. And then also we try to keep some level of connection, right? So as in the case of our HR placement.
You were talking about artificial intelligence and how is it making an impact, and about these young people you're trying to attract. Which are the characteristics new employees, students should pay attention to, that they have to develop or get good at to get places in these new kinds of jobs? What are you looking for right now?
Yes. So, some are, I would say some is role dependent, right? So if we are looking in the technical team, there might be some technical skills that they are working on if they are, there. So I'll sort of put aside technical skills for a minute and talk about sort of the broader skills. We look at things like someone's agility. How flexible can they be? Things move fast. Things move fast in the world, and certainly in our business, right? So a level of flexibility and agility. Also the what I would call learning agility. How interested are they? How much curiosity do they have to learn and grow and develop? To ask good questions, to bring a point of view, and to have that point of view and share it, and have the ability and the confidence to do so.
Have you, talking about another topic, which I think it's really important in the whole world, and you from the human resources point of view must have a lot of things to say. Have you noticed any mental health issues, patterns that you've watched all over the region? So
I would say I feel blessed to be part of a company where we have an interest and vehicles for our employees in the case of well-being. And we look at well-being in 4 categories. We look at physical well-being, we look at mental well-being, social well-being, and financial well-being. Okay. So we have broken our well-being program into those 4 corridors so that when we have programs for our employees, we look and make sure that we are crossing over all of those. I am our well-being sponsor for Latin America. We have a whole team, not just HR employees, but across the regions and the business lines who are interested in this topic to make sure that we have the right spaces for our employees. So when I think about mental well-being in particular, we have done things like provide, we have an app, a company app around sort of, opportunities to log in and have breathing exercises and meditation and things like that. We have an employee assistance program. So if you need someone to talk to and want someone to talk to, a professional, you have the opportunity to use that service and then for a period of time before, and then they will help you identify someone in your medical area to be able to have more ongoing if needed. So I think overall, if you look at global trends, not just what's going on in Latin America or at the Coca-Cola company, certainly we see signs of burnout across the globe, right? Where people are having to balance a lot of heavy topics over the last few years, whether it's war, or geopolitical issues, or things like that weigh heavily. And if you look at the workforce that's coming into more and more coming into the workplace, when you think about Gen Z, there is a sense of hopelessness that you see when you read about trends around a lack of confidence in government or in big companies or in religion or in the desire to have children, right? Like, so these are big issues that as employers, we need to make sure we have the right vehicles for our employees to be able to talk about these things and feel that they have an outlet for them.
Which policy are you most proud of?
Most proud of.
You can't say Fresh Minds, okay? Though that's a program, not a policy.
It's sort of like, asking, do you have a favorite child? Like, that's not a super fair question.
But you do.
But no, I'm a big believer in physical well-being, right? And I love all that we're doing about that right now. We have a well-being challenge going on right now because we are a big sponsor of the Olympics. So globally, we have asked employees to make teams of 5, and it's a step challenge. And with each milestone, you get to see learn about a different city that the Olympic torch will pass through. So again, it builds the magic of our brand in partnership with the wonder of the Olympics, and it gets people moving around. And I am a firm believer that physical well-being is such a big part of your emotional and mental well-being.
And which is the biggest, it couldn't be biggest, it could either be most interesting challenge ahead.
Most interesting challenge ahead. I would say, and I'll talk a bit from my HR team standpoint, maybe that's because it's closest to home for me. We've recently been talking a lot about how do we continue to innovate, but keep the balance with workload and reinforce the great and wonderful programs that we have. And it is a big challenge to sort of not give too much to employees who have a lot of other things on their plates and on their minds and the work that they have to do. But to stay relevant, for us to really stay relevant in what's most important in the hearts and minds of our employees. So I think there's a balance there that we need to continue to find and keep top of mind.
What would you advise young women who are about to go to college to start a career?
So if you indulge me for a half a minute on this question. So I have 2 daughters and a son, and my daughters are adulting as we speak in various forms. But when my oldest was in university, I was approached by someone in my network. She was writing a book, and it was letters from mothers to their millennial or centennial daughters when they were entering the workplace or when they were graduating college, when they were experiencing a change. And so I wrote my letter to my daughters, which was included in the book, about that, about going into the workforce. And I think 7 years later, what I put still holds true. And it was a few things. One is research the company that you're going to work for and make sure your values and their values align, because life's too short to work for a company where you are in agony over decisions that are made that you can't agree with. The second one is maintain a network and don't do it for the superficial reasons. You don't know when someone is going to come into your world and that you are going to need them or they're going to need you. So value the relationships you have for the reason of having those relationships and not what you can get from someone in the moment or what they can get from you. Know your strengths, and that doesn't mean don't develop the areas that you have that are your weaknesses, but lead with your strengths and be confident about those strengths. Know that you have strengths, know what they are, and lead with them. Have a board of directors, people that you trust, that you can surround yourself with, so that you know that if you are buying a car or taking a new job or having to make some life decision, that you have a trusted set of people who you know will tell it to you straight and give that and support you in that decision. And then the last one is there's a saying, and it's kind of a American saying, but it's that girls will be girls. And that is typically not something said in a very favorable light. It usually means that women are not nice to each other and that you just look aside from that. And that especially in the workforce, in the workplace, that when one woman wins, everyone wins. So don't put yourself up above someone else, for them to feel bad so that you feel good. Instead, support the women around you so that they know you are lifting the boat for everyone.
You can make a whole book out of your advice. Is there something you'd like to add?
No, I think this was lovely, and thank you. Thank you for making me feel so comfortable.
Thank you. I love talking to you.